There's been a lot of talk recently about Formula One's new regulations for 2026, but almost everything I've seen explains them from a technical or engineering point of view. But I want to look at it differently. What these changes actually mean for fans who are at the track watching the Formula One in person or on the screen. If you're standing at a circuit, some people don't really care for aero percentages or battery charts. As a fan, you care about how close the cars are, how exciting the racing is, and how it feels to watch Formula One live in person. So instead of breaking down the regulations in detail, I want to focus on what we'll actually notice from the grandstands or general admission areas. Now, one of the biggest changes for fans is how overtaking and defending will work in 2026, because DRS is being removed. Instead, drivers will have different modes they can trigger from the steering wheel, and you'll probably hear people talk about it like new buttons. Things like boost, overtake, and recharge. Now, you don't need to know the exact technical details of what each one does. The important part for fans is this: it should make battles feel more like a real fight, not just like a predictable DRS pass on one straight. Drivers will choose when to push, when to defend, and when to back off and recharge, and that decision making should actually show up in the racing. Another big change is active aerodynamics. Cars will be able to adjust how much downforce and drag they're running depending on whether they're attacking or defending. For fans at the track, this makes battles easier to read. You'll be able to tell when a driver is pushing, defending, or preparing for a move, not just waiting for a DRS zone. Visually, the cars should also look faster and more aggressive, especially on corner exits. Now, the car themselves are also getting smaller and lighter. That might not sound exciting on paper, but visually it makes a big difference. Smaller cars change direction faster, look more aggressive through corners, and reward driver skill much more. Especially at circuits like Suzuka or Monza, two of my favourite tracks, that should make high-speed corners look incredible from trackside. Now, the other key part is energy. Drivers will have to think more about when to deploy power and when to recharge. And again, for fans, the point isn't the exact numbers. It's that we should see more obvious moments where a driver is choosing to attack, defend, or manage the car. That should create more variation during a race, not just the same pattern every lap. Now we get to the pros and cons of these new regulations. There are some clear positives here for fans: closer racing, more decision making, and hopefully more action around the circuit. But the one concern a lot of fans have is the sound. With more electrical power, the cars could be quieter, and that raw noise is part of what makes F1 feel so special, especially going in person. So it's a trade-off, potentially better racing, but maybe less of that holy shit sound coming from the tracks. And the reason why these new regulations matter to me is that I'm actually heading to the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, and hopefully other races as well, and these changes should really show their strengths at tracks like that. Suzuka is all about flowing corners, and if the cars can generally follow closer and fight more naturally, it should be unreal to watch live. So that's the fans' view for 2026 rules. New attack/defend modes, active aero, smaller cars, and more energy strategy. Over the next year, I'll be travelling to races and sharing what Formula One is really like to watch and experience in person. So if you're interested in that side of F1, feel free to stick around and watch the channel.